Hello there and welcome to CoreTV News on the Hour with me, Sabina Izuku. All the parties involved in the issues that led to the nationwide fuel scarcity has reached an agreement at a meeting brokered by the Senate. Chairman Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream Magnus Abe disclosed this after a closed-door meeting on the sidelines of an investigative hearing on the nationwide fuel crisis. He noted that following the resolution, all marketers and tanker drivers will begin to lift fuel at depots within 6 hours of the agreement. That's about 7:30 p.m.
Smiles and handshakes all around. This is how the stakeholders who came with grievances ended the meeting brokered by the Senate. It was designed as an investigative hearing to find out the cause of the nationwide fuel crisis. But the senators led by Magnus Abe and Emmanuel Polka called a meeting on the sidelines of the hearing. After the closed-door meeting, Senator Abe gave an insight into the peace deal.
We have been able to reach some understandings that we believe will bring immediate solution to the immediate problems in the supply and distribution of products nationwide. I also want to thank the GMD of NNPC for his determined intervention with the unions within the NNPC that also resulted in a solution to the problems of the strike in the NNPC just in the course of our meeting right now. So as we speak now, we have clear information that the Nupeng and Pengasing strike has been called off following the intervention of the GMD and this committee.
There was also a subtle threat to withdraw the license of any marketer who refused to lift fuel within 6 hours of the end of the meeting. One after the other, the stakeholders voiced their acceptance of the agreement that also involved striking oil workers and the government.
But because we have really discussed, I'm sure that from today, it is also known that we are not fraudulent and that the words like we don't trust should be removed from the minds of everybody.
The GMD has promised that AGO will also be loaded in most of the NNPC depots for our trucks to use while conveying the other products, PNS, both jet oil and DPK.
We're able to unravel so many aspects from logistics to finance to very many other parts of the problem that hopefully will now be resolved as we move forward. In our own case, we endorse the summary you made, and we'll move forward on that to issue a letter to Moman and Dapman, just noting that there's a committee working, and the outcome of that will be documented, and government is continuous.
The meeting indeed ended on a good note and left many wondering why it took the intervention of the Senate. Senator Abe dropped hints on the issue of trust in an interview with newsmen.
I think it's all about communication and understanding. We're able to hear each other clearer, and I think that everybody is also committed to trying to find a solution. So people had to give and take. We extracted commitments from all the parties. So everybody is giving up something so that Nigeria can move forward, because the country is virtually grinding to a halt.
For now, there is respite for Nigerians, at least on paper. But it remains to be seen when the queues will disappear and motorists will be able to easily drive into fuel stations and buy the product without hassles.
And away from that, the social economic activities in Nigerian capital were on Monday at an unusual low ebb as a result of worsening fuel crisis. This has forced residents to demand some form of proactive measures from the outgoing government to address the situation in the country. Basi Aye has more in this report.
These are some fuel stations in the Federal Capital Territory, and like many others, they are not dispensing product of any kind. But this one in Highbrow Maitama district is functional. On inquiry, CoreTV News found out that only a few privileged individuals are being serviced. But even in their present state, motorists are still on queue to get a product that is seemingly not available. Some say they have been at filling stations for about 3 days, all to no avail. Now they are asking government to give reasons for their predicaments.
Saturday night they sell in there between 10 and 11, they sell fuel. They sell fuel. So some people, we beg them to tell them they will patronize. They say no. I'm stranded here because I can't go back. I don't have fuel in my car to go back. I better just leave the car here.
On Saturday, I came here again. On Saturday, I parked my car here, and to my greatest surprise, they did not sell fuel. Saturday, Sunday, I was here. Even up to today, Monday, I'm still here waiting to buy fuel. I'm here with my car. If I go, I'll just go and take my bath and come back just to get fuel. I don't know what is going on in the country. If it's the subsidy, they should remove it so that we will rest.
This man says he had to rely on public transportation to get to the office, but is angered by the hike in fare.
Very unbearable over the weekend, not having to be able to drive your car. As you can see, I was just trekking down now, parking my car at home. This is my car key. I couldn't drive it. I had to take a public transport down here, which was very, very exorbitant, if I could put it that way. So many people are stranded. They are stranded. Not many people could afford to even find their way to their destination. Well, from Utako to this place now, I had to pay like 300.
In the light of all this other man can only see a bleakness ahead and is wondering how May 29 would play out.
We are meant to be celebrating Democracy Day. We are meant to be celebrating 29th of this month. But do you expect me to come out and celebrate? To celebrate what? When I don't have food on my table, when there's no light in my house, when I don't have water? This morning, as early as 5 a.m., go to the road and see. Try it yourself tomorrow morning. Go and see what is happening on the road. As at 4:35 a.m., you see masses on the road. Somebody that is earning 20,000 naira salary, you spend 300 naira to and fro, 600 naira. How much is your salary? It's heartbreaking. It is painful. And like I said, it is devastating. Until the country will know what to do and solve this problem once and for all. Otherwise, I repeat, we are heading to God knows where.
As the fuel situation in the country gets worse and Nigerians recount their travail, they can only hope that respite comes soon. From the streets of Abuja, Basiaye, CoreTV News.
Despite the decision by fuel marketers to start lifting the fuel, commuters in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are still having to trek long distances to work. This is owing to the continued hike in transport fare, which is yet to abate. Commuters who hitherto wait to board vehicles have been rushing to get into fuel buses available.
You can get off the view now. You don't ask me to off it. I'm doing my work.
One of the two senators jostling for the Senate presidency has described the fuel subsidy scheme as one of Nigeria's biggest fraud. Senator Bukola Saraki, who is also the chairman of the Senate Committee on Environment, claimed that $32 billion has in the last 6 years been paid to people who lack capacity for fuel imports. He told journalists in Abuja that most of the 82 marketers licensed to import fuel under the scheme are bogus operators. The former Kwara State governor argued that it will be better to remove fuel subsidy than to continue to pay for inefficiency.
Running government nowadays has a lot to do with capacity and ability. I mean, you might be a nice guy, you might be a very friendly guy, you might be this, but really, as I said, running government now is like running companies. You got to be able to look at the person and say, okay, does this person have the capacity to do it? And when you don't have it, this is the kind of issues that this way you find ourselves and find the country, because there were decisions that should have been taken in the interest of the country. But unfortunately, you know, those that had interest and had his heirs did not allow him, and those that could to advise, they're easy to hide. They don't like you, don't come close to them. And if you remember when some of us left the party, some people convinced him to make a statement that good riddance to bad rubbish. And if you look at it today, there's no way the PDP would have gone down this way if he had kept all these people on board. So that's just an example of where bad advice led to this place.
The Nigerian Labour Congress has advised outgoing President Goodluck Jonathan to take decisive action against what it described as the oil cabal in the face of the current fuel scarcity. NLC President Ayuba Waba said in a statement on Monday that the cabal are only concerned with obtaining money from government without rendering the needed services under the cloak of subsidy. It maintained that those responsible for the impunity and corruption in the oil sector cannot continue to hold the country to ransom. Ogun Air Senator-elect Buruji Kashamo has failed to appear in court from his house, where he is being closely monitored by operators of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The agency says it is working hard to ensure that he submits himself to the due process of the law, while his house remained condoned of by anti-narcotic officers pending his appearance in court. The agency, while reacting to his failure to appear in court in a statement signed by its spokesman, Michelle Ofoyeju, says the extradition move by the NDLA for Kashamo to answer drug trafficking charges is legal. The agency added that it has not violated Kashamo's rights and will continue to work within the confines of the law, while also assuring him that due process of the law shall be adhered to at every stage of the proceedings. The agency, however, insists that it is the appropriate government agency to implement his extradition request and will diligently pursue the processes to a logical conclusion. The agency also added it expects that Kashamo will willingly submit.
Senator-elect Buruji Kashamo has failed to appear in court today. This is despite all attempts by the agency. We've had discussions with him and his lawyers, but still, for the fear of the unknown, he has refused to appear in court. So the agency is working hard to ensure that he submits himself to the due process of the law. Meanwhile, he remains in house arrest because his residence has been cordoned off by anti-narcotic officers. I think that is diversionary. As far as I'm concerned, that's just a mere distraction. How could you in the face of overwhelming evidences, and you are being asked to appear in court, you are, leaving the facts in issue, and you are dwelling in, irrelevant issues. And so, as far as we are concerned, we're going to still engage diplomatic and legal means to ensure that the due process of the law is adhered to. I think most importantly, we would like to...
The Supreme Court has advised the Presidency and the National Assembly to work out on the Constitution Amendment Bill and report back to it. There's more on this after the break. Do stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back to the news. For more information, you can reach us on any of our social media platforms, and that's on facebook.com/CoreTV News, and on our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. For news update and other programs, you can stream us live on youtube.com/CoreTV Live Space and the news. The Supreme Court has advised the Presidency and the National Assembly to work out an out-of-court solution on the contentious issues over the Constitution Amendment Bill and report back to it. The court directed the two parties to meet and harmonize their positions on the ground that the issue in dispute can be resolved without court intervention. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmoud Mohammed, who led the panel of 7 justices, gave the advice at the hearing of the suit. The Apex Court also struck out the motion filed by counsel to the Attorney General of the Federation, Bayoju, to substitute the AGF with the President as the plaintiff.
Proposed by the National Assembly, they propose to amend 65 sections of the Constitution. The only areas we're complaining about are 10 out of 65, or 3, almost next to nothing. So I'm sure, as the court pointed out, when the two parties sit down, they can iron the gray areas, and then we come out and report the settlement of what. So we thank their lordships for their wisdom and their guidance.
I'm hopeful that both the executive and the legislature in this matter put their heads together and resolve this very simple matter and division be avoided. But let me say that I am extremely glad that the Supreme Court has responded, as fathers of the nation by saying, let there be peace. And I think the best legacy, the best gift the President and the 7th National Assembly can give to Nigeria is resolution of this issue amicably, so that I can have, a new amended or alteration of the Constitution.
Former Minister of Defense Haliru Bello on Monday night emerged as acting chairman board of trustees of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Bello, who was also a former acting national chairman of the party, replaces Chief Tony Aneni, who resigned from office last week. Outgoing President Goodluck Jonathan was expected to be named as Aneni's successor, but he declined the offer. We'll bring you more on this in our subsequent bulletin. The government has submitted handover notes to the Transition Committee of the All Progressive Congress ahead of the May 29th presidential inauguration. In a brief ceremony attended by permanent secretaries of government agencies in Abuja, Vice President Amadi Sambo charged the incoming administration to study the notes closely. He added that the permanent secretaries will be available at any time to clear grey areas and the need arises, responding, and the chairman of the Transition Committee, Ahmed Judah, said he was not disappointed over the level of work done by the outgoing government and promised that the incoming administration will continue viable projects.
These are the printed copies, and the ones in these folders are the original copies presented by the ministries and other agencies of government, and the permanent secretaries of each ministry have signed and initialed each page of these reports to authenticate and own it. And it is our pleasure to present it to you and pray that it will help guide you and guide the incoming administration. So it is my pleasure for me to formally present to you. This is yes, you want me to give all. This is one set of the report. Thank you very much.
There is continuity in government and in governance. our duty and interest as a committee is to examine these reports carefully and to make recommendations that are not only sensible but practical, especially in the realities that we have to face in the next few months, perhaps few years. In a way, we are beginning from a beginning to chart a new course. And in this, we must try to balance the expectations of the Nigerian people, indeed, friends of Nigeria from around the world.
Despite that, the series of crises which has been rocking Ekiti State over the week should not be politicized. The APC and the PDP have also started a war of words on the crisis. The parties have both been pointing accusing fingers at each other as the brain behind the recent problems in Ekiti State. Our correspondent Rashid has more.
With the lifting of curfew in Ado-Ekiti and soul-searching by stakeholders reviewing the recent happenings in Ekiti State, the two major political parties have taken at each other over what they described as the sponsorship of the crisis that rocked the state. While the PDP says the APC is intolerant, the APC says the leadership style of the state governor is the foundation for the crisis.
The APC are violent people. The APC are people that are not tolerant with others. The moment APC is not in government, there is always trouble. They are intolerant.
What has happened to all the talk that were housed in the government house? Where are they? What has happened to the people that attacked the judiciary? What has happened to the people that sealed up the legislative arm of government? What has happened to people who has not given opportunity and freedom of association to all political parties and individuals that contested in the last election?
With Ekiti people still apprehensive daily over the news of the 19 APC lawmakers storming Ekiti any moment and the added cases of kidnapping, coupled with a communal clash, the parties have this rather cynical advice for each other.
I want to appeal to APC in Ekiti State. Give peace a chance. Why do you like trouble? Why do you like make trouble with the government of PDP? Each time we have PDP in place, you want to make the state ungovernable, and it's unfair.
I see the happenings of recent as very, very suspicious, and we believe they are being orchestrated and instigated by the power that be in the state in order to prevent the legislative arm of government, particularly the 19th arm of government, from performing their constitutional responsibility.
Though normalcy might have returned to Ado metropolis, political observers say the next battle in the state may be on the political front. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
Executive and the aggrieved APC legislators have held a meeting for the overall interests of the state. Governor Ayodele Fayose stated this while addressing newsmen in Akure after a 4-hour closed-door meeting with Speaker Omiri. Ayodele Fayose, alongside the Speaker of the 19 APC lawmakers in House of Assembly, Adewale Omiri, says that the meeting was to find a political solution to the crisis rocking the two arms of government. Among the attendees from the APC is the Deputy Speaker of the G19, Tunji Orishalade, and the majority leader of the APC group, Churchill, Adedipe, and Bumi Oriniowo, representing Ido and Osi constituency. The outcome of the meeting, however, cannot be asserted.
Well, the executive and the legislature, and we have met in the overall interest of our state, believing that we will be able to find solution to the problems.
That is exactly what we have done. That what the governor said is exactly what we have done. Thank you.
And just before we wrap up, outside Nigeria, at least 13 people have been killed by a tornado that hit the northern Mexico border city of Ciudad Acuña. And that's it on the news for this hour. To join us at the top of the hour for more. I am Sabena Izuki, and thank you very much indeed for watching.